what if we have a situation where we have tons of tech stack, right? So this is where we are going to be speaking more about the very big picture. And this is something that could be what you are currently using. So maybe your website is currently sitting on WordPress, and then you are using maybe Marketo to do your automation, or maybe even Salesforce Pardot. Maybe you have an accounting software like Stripe, right? And each one of them is holding their own database. So this is what it could be looking like right now. And if this is a situation that you're facing, and if you start to see certain problems later on, we can definitely dive into it further. So sales, marketing, support, customer support, finance, ops, all has their own software. And when they start to pull out data and go into your management meeting, some of the problems that usually arises is duplicated records, missing information, you have inconsistent records, possibly even wrong information. However, one of the very, very common things that we hear is that each teams are spending tons of time to export data, to clean the data, and then to use it for reporting purposes. So what happens when, again, no one trusts the numbers? And if this is a situation that happens, this is a situation that commonly happens. Sales team will pull out a report from their sales software and says, yep, everything is looking very strong. Marketing team uses their report saying, yes, we are generating X amount of leads. Everything looks like it's trending. Operations flex, there's no problem. Everything moving fine. And overall forecast by our finance usually says that, we are on target. But is that really true at the end of the day? When you have a lot of text separating, the reality is none of this is true. There's a high chance that your target is constantly missed. People start to suspect the sales team pipeline being skewed, meaning to say it's not really very accurate. When you have a lot of text separating, the reality is none of this is true. Sales is a big problem. A lot of the business decision that you're doing currently is mainly by gut, but not backed by data. End of the day, as mentioned earlier, a lot of time is being wasted just to compound the data for reporting purposes. But meanwhile, you start to understand that most of the data reported are not really 100% accurate. So now the question is, how do we actually solve this problem? We always trust that you need to let the CRM to be the single source of truth. Whether or not you're using other kind of software, what we do is we will suggest to use HubSpot, and that is our choice. Following on, if you have more than one of these tech stack, for example, you want to utilize maybe your own custom-made system, what you could do is you can actually build custom-made you can build middleware. Natively in HubSpot, we do have more than 1,000 native integration, so you can start exploring from there. The key thing is that we will want most of your tech stack all to funnel the data into HubSpot so that we will have one single source of truth. If you're looking to use HubSpot as your CRM, HubSpot natively has a few features already. We have Sales Hub, CMS Hub, and Marketing Hub, which are the popular ones. Service Hub and Operation Hub, if that fits your current businesses. And of course, if you have other softwares, you can actually integrate them back into it. All right, right now, honestly, let's look at how, if we were to integrate everything into HubSpot, let's look at how this tech stack alignment could possibly look like. So let's take it as marketing, do your paid social, and then you generated leads, and then you hand off to sales. So as mentioned, HubSpot do have a native sales platform where they can use the pipeline to actually nurture and grow so that you can actually do proper forecasting. Importantly is what activities are the sales doing? Are they doing webinar like this? Are they doing a Zoom one-to-one meeting, or are they doing a on-site one-to-one client meeting? If they're recording everything into if they're recording all of these activities, you can actually start to attribute which activity actually leads to a sale. Next, after the sales do close, usually it goes into your custom software, or you may need to actually notify your operation team to start delivering. Your finance team will probably be the next to actually send out the invoice. And once the invoice is sent, going back to our initial topic, a welcome email is usually sent to a client, and what we actually do in HubSpot is that we want to start to customize this particular customer's life cycle stage. So in this life cycle stage, the reason of doing so is that with time, in terms of like 2 months to 3 months, if you are looking to cross-sell or upsell, that's where your marketing can reuse the data and start to send in different drip campaigns. So all of this is in one big closed loop in HubSpot, right? So just imagine every single activity for one client can be recorded into one single source of truth. And from that single source of truth, you will start taking actions in terms of either automation or what we try to do is to scale, right? Where we want to put our marketing budget, where should we focus our sales activity so that we can actually generate more revenue. Because all of this data is in one single source of truth, this is what a dashboard could possibly look like. You have a one-page view of all the opportunities created. You can easily forecast. You can even create what we call an inactive pipeline, right? So meaning to say you can track whether or not some of your sales rep are overlooking some of the possible deals. And then we create a notification or we can do email nurturing. So that's on the sales end. On the marketing end, once you connected all your different avenues, you can actually start to see the amount of traffic coming in from your Facebook, your Google. Most cases, marketers will always do email marketing. So in your email marketing, you will start to you will be able to see your open rate as well, right? Ultimately, what you're trying to do is when you connect everything and have all the activities, you're trying to attribute your marketing efforts to your sales, right? So this is the struggle that most businesses have when they are doing. When it comes to scaling, and once you have your operation all intact, the next step that you're trying to do is you're trying to find a way to analyze where your next marketing budget should be put into, because that's where it's working the best, right? So if all your tags are separated, this is not going to be possible. So in HubSpot, you are able to actually do attribution in multiple ways. You can do what we call first touch. You can do last touch attribution. However, in my favorite, I always suggest to do linear. So each different attribution model is again dependent on the kind of business that you're in, and it really depends on what fits you best. But from here, you can see this is a live case of like where again give you the most revenue. So if website pages is going to give you the most revenue, that would mean that your strategy will be driving paid social to drive people into your website, which will ultimately lead you to your increase in revenue.